Welcome. I'm Jen. You are here for a short standing kind of stretch and release practice. So that really is what you need, a space to stand. Ideally, no shoes or socks if that's available in your body. I would encourage you to be near, if you can, a wall or like the back of a couch or a table, something where we can take a nice wall stretch as part of this practice. If you don't have access to something near you that you can press your hands against, I'll give you a different shape that you can work through some similar pieces with us. So all of that said, I'm just going to start a little bit of music here in the background for us. And I invite you to come to a position, if you're standing on a yoga mat or not, doesn't matter, but finding a position where your feet are hip distance apart. I'm going to face sideways to you a lot of this practice. Maybe moving through your feet a little bit, rolling the weight of your body toward the toes and toward the heels, feeling a little softness in your knees and giving yourself that moment to pause where it feels like the weight of your body is resting right over the arches of your feet. And I'm going to take an inhale to reach and stretch the arms up, pausing for a moment or two, sending your shoulders away from your body. You might even almost kind of alternate a little reach toward the sky, shifting through the shoulders. And you can keep the hands apart, or if it's available, maybe you interlace the fingers, taking a little bit more of a stretch of the arms behind your head if you can. And then I'm going to bring them down about shoulder height, almost rounding my upper back slightly to get a little stretch in my upper back. And I'm going to move back and forth. I'm going to use an inhale to bring the arms up and an exhale to bring the arms down. And again, you can do this with the arms apart if that feels better for your shoulders. You might start to notice the littlest almost back bend in your body as the arms come up. So feel free to take that lift of your heart toward the ceiling, making sure the knees are staying slightly bent and the legs are fairly active here to give a strong support to our lower body. Take a few more rounds here. And then the next time you come to the top, let's pause and see how it feels to cactus the arms. I'm going to turn away from you for a moment. So I'm bringing my elbows wide, feeling some expansion across the shoulders and the chest. Again, you might feel this desire to lift your heart space slightly and almost create the littlest back bend in your body. You might lift the chin slightly as well, but there is no need to bring in any of that if that feels like it's not serving you. Notice here, though, giving yourself a big breath in and a big breath out, soften the shoulders. We'll bring the hands back around, making sure the spine feels really straight. And let's take some time to lift up one heel and then switch. So almost this little kind of rhythmic foot dance at the top of your space. Feeling perhaps a stretch in your feet. So depending on what activities you've done, you might feel a pretty good stretch as you come up onto the toes with as much weight into the toes as feels okay. And then we'll pause, take another big inhale to reach up. As you exhale, bring your hands through, bend into the legs a bit to rest your hands on your thighs. Can you really lift your chest? So I'm finding a little softening in the legs. We'll find standing cow and cat. So I'm going to really lift my heart, expand my front body, and then I'm going to exhale and scoop up through my belly, try to round my back, maybe even drop the chin a little bit. And you can move here with your breath pace. I like inhales to lift into cow, exhales to round into cat. And I'm pushing a little bit through my legs to give myself some kind of aspect of traction to press against to create that curvature in the spine. And again, you determine how much movement here feels good. As you come into cat in particular, can you really use kind of that low belly, scoop up all the way down to the full length of your spine? You can continue to move, or maybe one or the other of those shapes feels really good to linger. Feel free to do so for a few more breaths. And then as you're ready, I'm going to come back to cow. I'm going to take one more rounding to cat. Let my arms hang and roll up. Be mindful here, we're a bit upside down. So as you stack your spine, your shoulders, and your head, give yourself a moment at the top. Sometimes my head gets a little bit of, ooh, I was just upside down. So give that just a little bit of a pause. And then from here, I'm going to stretch the arms up again. Bring your hands down, a little more weight into your left foot. Let's see if we can lift up the right leg. So you could spend some time again here moving through the ankle. So a little bit of balance. If it works for you, let's hug and lift that right knee a little bit higher. This is a great time to use that wall or support near you. If balance is feeling challenging today, looking for an opportunity to really feel that shape. So that hug in, hopefully you feel a little activation at the right hip flexor. And then as we start to release that right leg, can you send the right toes way back? We're going to plant the foot and set up for a high lunge stretch. So my feet are on railroad tracks. So if I face you, you can clearly see both of my feet, all 10 toes facing forward. Take a few moments to feel this shape in your body. Sometimes I like to soften my right knee and I get a little different stretch. Sometimes I like to lift my right leg long. Feel where your body gets that, ooh, that's a nice stretch. Give a little wiggle to your left big toe. So we're protecting our left knee with the alignment here. And then I'm going to take an inhale to almost lift out of it a little bit, reach up. Exhale, throw the arms down. And it doesn't have to be throwing like super dramatic or sloppy, but you'll notice I'm coming up and getting a little release. Using the arms and maybe a few exhales to literally do just that. Can you use that stretch and release something out? And then when you are ready, let's pause at the top. Can you spin your right foot flat? It's now turned to the side of your space. Let's take the left arm up, reach up and out and stretch into the left side body. My legs are feeling strong and connected, but I'm not locking the knees. You might feel your inner thighs engage a little bit. Feel this space around your left rib cage expand as you breathe in. Soften your left shoulder as you breathe out. Maybe you take a few more breaths where you use your right hand to grab that left wrist. Find a little bit more opening. I'm not tugging and pulling so much that I'm losing breath, but seeing if I can get a little bit more into the shoulders. And then we'll take ourselves back to upright. Let's spin back to face the front of your space. And can you bring your right foot up maybe about halfway? And let's see about turning the toes upside down. So getting a stretch across the top of the foot. See how that feels, putting just a bit of pressure on. You gauge kind of where the feet are. If you don't stretch your feet a lot, be mindful. Sometimes you can actually sometimes I create a cramp in my foot if I'm not super careful. So getting enough of a stretch, maybe you even roll a little bit toward the pinky toe or the big toe. And then when you're ready, we'll step that right foot up next to the left. Let's take that circle of joy. We're going to combine a bit we did at the beginning. A big breath in, reach up. Stay soft in the shoulders. Maybe you interlace the hands. Take the arms down in front. Let's pause here. Feel a little bit more space in your shoulder blades. Can you round your upper back the slightest bit? Try to keep your low back pretty stable. You could even kind of swim this like figure 8 style for a few breaths. Elbows really soft. Your next inhale, reach up, rise back up, and a turn away from you. Cactus, bend your arms, open this back up again. Letting the priority of this moment be trying to find some space across your front body. So broadening the chest, shoulders away from the ears, drawing the elbows back as far as feels right. Maybe again, that little lift of your heart. Let's take a stretch and reach, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hands come down. Put a little bit more weight in your right foot to lift and stair step the left knee. And again, you can hold something for support right away. How about a little movement again through the ankle? So good to work through the feet and the ankles when we can. Maybe a circle or two, a flex and point. And then how about that hug a little bit more? Can you lift and hug that left knee up? Great time to hold something. Just enough of a lift with your right leg still soft, right? Right leg is strong but not locked. And then when you're ready, slow release to send the left foot way, way back, plant the toes and make your adjustments to start to find your high lunge stretch. Take a few breaths to settle in. And again, that idea of being able to see and wiggle your right big toe just gives us a little sense that the right knee is safely aligned in that front leg. Maybe again, there's a bend in the left leg or a lift of the leg. Where do you find that? That feels pretty good. And then let's throw that out again. So I'm going to lift up, reach up, exhale, sweeping the arms down. Notice how this feels. There are some days when I work this breath, that release, that big exhale, I can feel things moving out of my physical body. I can feel things that maybe I was carrying for tension. Otherwise, use a few more breaths. And then we'll rise up, reach up, hands come down, and we'll spin ourselves again to turn to face the side of your space. I'm going to turn to face you. So right foot is still facing forward, left foot turned. Sweep your right arm up. Finding this reverse triangle shape is what we have. Again, legs are strong, but I'm not locking the knees. See if you can breathe to expand your right rib cage, and maybe you take a few breaths where your left hand grabs your right wrist to find a little bit more space. Notice if you ever start to get kind of stuck in your breath, that can be a way that your body is saying, that's too much today. Full breath in to right side body, full breath out. Bring yourself upright, hands come in. Turn back to face the front of the mat, or front of your space. Step your left foot again about halfway up, and then turn your left toes under. See how that stretch feels across the top of the foot. Maybe there's a little movement, putting as much pressure onto those left toes as feels good. Really nice opportunity when we don't have shoes on to take care of the feet and the ankles. They are doing so much work all day long. And then when you feel ready, left foot comes up next to right. From here, I'm going to face you. Start to find some gentle rotations of your spine. And I am lifting up onto the opposite foot and toes because I am finding this rotation in my spine. I don't want to keep my hips still. I'm using this to really find some movement through hips and spine. Maybe you start to let the arms sweep out. Maybe they're a little bit floppy, and you could even swing so they start to almost wrap around you as you come to that opposite side. Could you let your shoulders be a little bit heavier here? Could you find some softness across your face? Could you find a little more ease in the shoulders? Good. And then when you're ready, we'll meet back, standing at the top of your space. And again, now if you have a wall or something near you that you can press your hands into, I'm going to make my way toward my wall. Coming to a little bit wider stance, we'll adjust the feet as we go, and having your body about an arm's length away from the wall or couch, whatever you're going to press into. And I'm going to start to press into that object as I hinge at the waist. Feet wide, toes in slightly from the heel, so I'm a bit pigeon-toed. See if you can get yourself to where your hands are shoulder height. So if you look, I'm really long through my spine, and I'm feeling length in my hamstrings. So trying to find that spot where you feel a stretch in your hamstrings. If your hamstrings are really tight, you might want to take the feet wider so you can give your body a little bit more space. If your hamstrings don't have a lot, or if they're really, really flexible, you might have to bring your feet closer together. As you find that sweet spot where your spine feels long, your knees are slightly bent, maybe it feels okay to let your head drop between your shoulders. Really keep pressing into the wall or your object. If you don't have anything to press into, let's bring hands to thighs and give that press. So you can still get that traction in your spine and have that push against something to send shoulders away from the ears. And then from here, feel free to stay. This is a great even physical therapy exercise to get stretch in your back body and shoulders. I'm going to let one of my arms drop. So push a little harder through one hand, let the other one drop straight down, and find some circles clockwise, and then some circles counterclockwise. Keeping everything else the same, find your breath, engage through your back body. And then I'm going to carefully come up and switch, pushing a little bit more now through that hand that's on the wall. One arm comes down, circles one direction, and circles the other direction, letting gravity really tug at your fingertips here. And then coming back, both hands on the wall. Start to soften through your knees, start to lift your heart. I'm going to start to crawl my way up. So if you don't have a wall, you might be rising up with hands away. I'm going to come to the tiptoes for just a moment. Get one more stretch through the feet, and then slowly breaking our way back to maybe a space that was away from the wall. I'm going to do so. But coming back to simply stand again at the top of your space, feet hip distance. Let's take one more big inhale, reach up. Exhale, sweep the arms down. Pause here, palms forward, feet deeply connected to the ground. Maybe again, you take that little front to back so you can feel that nice pressure through the feet right over the arch, knees soft. Inviting you to close your eyes or let your gaze soften, meaning finding a place to focus where you're looking so your vision almost gets a little bit blurry. Taking a pause in mountain pose, feeling a little strength in your legs, maybe spreading your fingers really wide, feeling a lift of the crown of your head, a softening of your shoulders, and this pause in your body to simply feel. Feeling your feet connected to the ground, feeling any sensations in your body that we cultivated with this short practice, feeling the beating of your heart, noticing and drawing some attention to your breath. Our moment to pause after giving ourselves a little stretch,
a little time to flush things out of the body and maybe out of the mind, taking this moment to center, to reset, and to breathe. When you feel ready, slowly starting to lift your gaze or open your eyes if they were closed, bringing your hands together in front. I'm going to turn to face you. If it feels okay to put one hand over your heart, the other hand over the top, sealing in this time that you took for your body with one more really intentional breath in. Maybe you sigh it out. I wish you much peace in your body, ease in your mind. Thank you for engaging in this short practice. I hope to see you again soon. Namaste.